Awesome. My name is Mike Peck. I'm the head football coach at Prairie High School in Washington State. We are a 3A school. It goes up to 4A here in Washington. We have about 1,600 kids. We're located here in Southwest Washington. But just wanted to be able to talk ball with you guys, and hopefully I can share a couple things that we do that could maybe help you or your players this season. So kind of like it says, Prairie football offensive ideas for any system. And the thing about this is I truly do feel the things we're going to talk about, you can add to whatever system you run. Very flexible, and you can kind of put your own flair on it as well. And one of the coolest things about this quarantine is how coaches have connected and shared ball. I've learned a lot this quarantine. This is just kind of my way of giving back, and I'm excited to talk. So that said, let's go and get started. So last year, I don't like talking about previous results too much, but I think there is a little bit to be said here. Prairie's traditionally really struggled. This is my second year, or just finished second year as the head coach, going into year 3. They averaged 3 wins a year for the last 20 years. So last year, we were able to go 9-2. We won the league championship for the first time in 27 years. We were able to average 44 points a game, which was number 1 in the state at our level. You can see we were pretty balanced. 3,000 yards rushing, 2,000 yards passing, 5,000 total yards, set a bunch of records on offense, and our QB was the GSHL Player of the Year. And I'll be the first to admit none of this happens without great kids. It's Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. But I think it is cool to note where the program was and what we were able to do last season, and hopefully keep building on that. So I do think the scheme is sound, but obviously when you have great players, it makes things a little easier. But last year was a fun year for us in the community, and we're going to look to keep it going when we can get back to football. So I'm huge on culture and philosophy. You kind of have to know who you are as a program. And again, people like to wordsmith things, but I think it's more than a mission statement. For me, I want it to be clear and concise, and the kids can just kind of rattle off and know exactly what it is. And then when things get tough, you have to have a foundation. Like, who are you going to fall back on? And 2 years ago, my first year as head coach, we went 5-4, made the playoffs for the first time in over 10 years, and winning records for the first time in like 20 years and something like that. But there was a point where we lost 3 games in a row. And on one of our practice days, we literally just met and talked about who we are, what our culture is, and how we're going to get back on the right track. But I'll show you our pyramid of success coming up. But I think it's huge. Our kids understand who we are, what we're doing, and how we're going to get there. And I think that's imperative. And that meeting isn't the only reason we were able to win out. We ended up winning out rest of the season, going 5-4 and making the playoffs and stuff like that. But it gave our kids the confidence of, we have a plan. And we're on the same page of what our plan is and how we're going to get to where we want to go. So with that said, here's our Prairie football pyramid of success. This is everything for us. Our whole program revolves around it. Very similar to John Wooden's pyramid success, obviously, and he's one of the greatest coaches of all times, regardless of sport. But the easy way to kind of read this is at the bottom, you have our 7 core covenants. Blue collar worker, always compete, show class on and off the field, never give up, never give up, accountable to yourself and your teammates, tough physically and mentally, and then unity, one heartbeat. And then obviously it's important that Prairie football players live that creed 24/7. So it's not just a football field thing. It's classroom, it's society. If you live by those 7 kind of core covenants, the Falcon Creed, what we call it, you're going to give yourself a fighting chance to be successful in whatever you're doing. So from there, it's like a roadmap of what we're going to do to get to where we want to be, which at the end of the day is 3A state champions. So we're going to have a family atmosphere. We're going to have effective communication. And again, communication is the biggest breakdown in relationships. So it's important that we communicate effectively, have that mutual trust and respect, a common purpose, positive discipline. We're going to hold our kids accountable, but I feel like we can do that in a positive way and encourage positive behaviors, and let kids know that we're in this together instead of, I don't know, the dictator or out of fear type deal. And then teamwork, obviously. And then kids will understand they need to have great attitude and effort. Practice is everything. Pride, preparation, and control what you can control. Positive belief good things will happen. And at the end of the day, find a way to get things done. And then we have our 5 kind of daily or game goals. So average 35 points a game. On offense, we want to be great on special teams, create and limit explosive plays, win the turnover battle, and then hold them to 14 points a game. And then obviously we want to win the 3A GSHL conference every year. Team goal of 3.0 GPA, and at the very top, Washington 3A state champions. So at the bottom, it's who we are, and then it works our way up to our behaviors and actions that will provide a blueprint or roadmap for how we're going to get to the end of the destination, which is the top 3 blocks there at the top. So we talk about this all the time. Our whole program revolves around it. And I really do think it's one of the better things we do. And culture is everything. One of the hardest things to do right now. And it's in kind of a me first world. So getting everybody to be on the same page, buy in, and play for each other. And I think if you can do that, regardless of scheme, you've already won half the battle. And most teams, I think, struggle with that. And so do we at times, but we always have something we can fall back to and be a team. And it's we before me and all that good stuff. So kind of getting into what we do, our Prairie offensive philosophy, we're going to be a power spread. I'm big on saying spread isn't an offensive philosophy. To me, spread just means what it says. You're spreading the field, you're by formations and things like that. You're going to utilize the whole field. Power, that's referring to our run game and kind of our mentality. We're going to be physical with it as well. We want the defense to defend all 53.5 yards, open up the run by dominating the quick passing game. There's a saying that there's kind of 3 categories of offense, kind of roughly. You have your run game, you have your quick game, and you have your drop back game. And obviously there's more to it, but you got to be great at 2 or 3 of those. And so for us, we're going to be great at the run game. We're going to be great at the quick game. And obviously we'll sprinkle in a drop back and a screen game and things like that. But that's what we want to do. Obviously, if we want to utilize multiple tempos, we used to be as go fast as possible all the time, but you'll see throughout this presentation, we've definitely utilized a lot more tempos and kind of keep the defense off balance that way. And then get our athletes in space. I mean, there's nothing like forcing corners and safeties to make plays in space and get outside all that junk there in the middle of the field. So I think it's really important, QBs. I mean, they got to be an extension of you. I mean, it's cliche as heck, but they got to be a coach on the field. So we do QB school all throughout once spring ball starts, and it continues throughout the summer. But this is something that, to me, you have to do. Your QBs they got to know the system almost as well as you do. And the better they understand it, the better they're going to execute. So, like I said, starts during spring ball, continues throughout the summer. It's a combination of a lot of classroom and on-field work, a lot of chalk talk, a lot of quizzes, tests, things like that. And when you're installing as the team, the QB should be able to be the one installing it. And I'm a true believer in this. Like, if you're installing something on the field, the last person you should be worried about talking to is the QB. He should already know what's being installed and know what the O-line is doing and know what the receivers and the backs are doing, and he can help you install it. And there's plenty of times in meetings, too, where I'll just call up the QBs and tell them, hey, talk about our install today, go through our checklist and things like that. And again, it's not always perfect, but they know they're going to be held accountable, and they know they have to learn it, or else they're going to be kind of, I don't want to use the word embarrassed, but they want to know what they're doing if they get called on. But that's true learning, in my opinion. If the kid can teach it, he truly knows it. And that's kind of what we want to get to with our QBs and all our players for the most part, but QB is the most important in that sense. So we're pretty unique with the formation system we have. And again, I think anybody can take this and kind of adapt it to the system that they already have. But it allows us to be really creative in how we line up, but also really simple. So what we do is we have 9 spots on the field labeled from left to right, just 1 through 9. And so what we do is, what I should say is we don't have a bunch of formation names. And we use these 9 spots to kind of get any formation we want. So we game plan the formations, and we do still have formation names. This just allows us to limit those. And so I'll show you on this next slide what it kind of looks like. But like I said, the field's numbered left through right, 1 through 9. Those spots never change. So you can tag any player you want to line up in that position, and you can pretty much get into any formation you want. So again, example would be H7. That would move the H receiver, who's over here to the left, to the right between the guard and the tackle. And the formation just would be H7. If we don't call a formation, we just line up in 2x2 pistol, just like this. L is always to the left, H is always to the left, Y is always to the right, and R is always to the right. And the T is always in pistol unless he's tagged for something different. Okay. And you can see we can shift to anything we want as well and mix that in. So we could say shift H7, which now during the cadence, the H would now move over and get lined up there instead of doing it before the cadence. But you can tag anybody. So I can get into an empty set just by going T3. Now I'm kind of in an empty kind of 2-back set. But if you play with it, you can get really creative. And we still have formation names like trips right, trips left. We have other ones, empty, quads. We have some tags like slot. But for the most part, we just utilize this, and we can get into pretty much any look that we want. And again, we didn't create this solely based on ourselves. Keith Grabowski, the host of USA Football Podcast, he did something a few years ago when he was the OC at Baldwin Wallace. He would tag he created a numbering system for his running backs to line them up differently with any formation. So like he would say like East 6. So formation was East, and then they'd tag where they want their running back to line up in that. So we were kind of talking, how do we make something like that for the whole offense? And this is kind of what we came up with, and it's really been very good for us. Okay, so here's an example. Okay, all this is H3. So the H would line up to the left normally. We call it H3. Now it's between the left guard and left tackle right there. You got your L, you got your Y to the right, you got R, you got your tailback and pistol. So that's the basic formation. All we have to say is H3. It doesn't have to be like dual right or anything like that, or dual left. It's just H3. Here's H6. Again, a completely different formation, but now instead of the H being in the 3 spot, he's in the 6 spot to the right of the tailback, or the right of the QB. You still got your L, here's your Y, and here's your R. And for these examples, the H is the adjuster for us, but we can move anybody. I'm just showing you the different spots we can put the H and how it shows different formations. So here would be H7. Okay, now we get the H between the right guard and right tackle. We can get like a trip, so the 2-back look. Still got our L, our Y, our R. All different formations, and all we've had to do is tag a position or a number. Okay, so you can build in rules and get kind of even more creative with it. So anytime we tag 2 people in the same spot, they just line up side by side right here. So basically this is just HY3. Both the H and the Y are now lined up in the 3 spot. Okay? It's a great way to get numbers at the point of attack, get in a heavy formation, get kind of physical. but that's one of the things you can do and kind of get creative with and have fun with the system. Yeah. So again, we rushed for 3,000 yards last year. Pretty good. And I don't know, I like how we do the run game. To me, it's simple, but it looks complicated. We kind of have our core blocking schemes. So power, counter, edge counter are 3 core blocking schemes, but we can run multiple plays out of that. So for power, obviously we'd have our base power, then invert power, speed option, fly sweep, shovel. Counter, you have counter, you can bash, fly sweep, triple option. So you have the core blocking scheme to the left, and then in parentheses, you have some of the other run plays that we can do with that. So the line is blocking the same thing up front, but the backfield action is different. Okay, and I have quick screens listed down there for our run game, and that's kind of from the air raid philosophy. I really do think quick screens are an extension of the run game. It's just an extended handoff, and if you get 5 yards, perfect. Okay, it's like a sweep almost. But the key for our run game is to use limited blocking concepts up front, but make the backfield action different. The O-line gets incredibly good at blocking these schemes, and they don't need to know what the backfield action is. And it allows us to do a lot with our run game, but in reality, it's not that much. But like I said, the easiest example I can talk about is power. I mean, you could have traditional power, inverted power, speed option, fly sweep, or shovel. The O-line doesn't know any of that. They're just blocking power up front. And so it allows them to just get really dang good at their blocking schemes, and then we can get pretty creative with the action we want to show in the backfield. So with that, we have tags. So for power example, we could go power read, we could go power kick, or we could go power lock. Okay, and so what's that mean? Read means we're leaving the man head up to outside the tackle unblocked. We're reading him for the handoff for QB keep. Okay, so read for the receivers, that means they're blocking most dangerous man. And everybody knows either the running back or the QB is carrying the ball. There is no pass option. Kick means we're kicking out the man head up to outside the tackle. As the defensive front is blocked, so now we are reading the alley defender for handoff or throw. So anytime it's a kick, it's an RPO. Could be quick screens to the perimeter. It could be a pass concept we attach to it. But our receivers, QBs, and running backs know when they hear kick that it could be a pull and throw. And then lock. That just means we're locking the play side tackle on the man head up to outside him. Again, the defensive front is blocked up, so now we're reading the inside linebacker for handoff or throw, which is, again, RPO. So read, our receivers know they're blocking most dangerous man no matter what. Kick and lock, there's going to be some type of pass concept attached to it. And again, the QB at that time just needs to know kick. He's reading outside linebacker, alley defender. Lock, he's going to be reading play side, inside backer. So 3 simple tags we utilize, and we can attach to the counter, a power, duo, all those. And again, allows us to get creative on very simple concepts. So let's look at some huddle clips of power and counter and kind of how we utilize the same run action up front. Yeah, we're going to look at some power counter here. Again, just showing how we utilize multiple backfield actions with the same scheme up front. So this is power. Again, for us, this will just be H6, and we're going power kick to the right. So pretty simple here. You'll see the O-line is blocking traditional power up front. We're down wrap. Okay. He's the kick man, so he's going to kick out the last man on line of scrimmage. And then we have a bubble or quick screen out here to be able to throw the RPO, and we're reading the alley defender, which in this case it'd be that guy. Anytime we have a kick call on the backside single receiver, he has kind of a best access type route. For the most part, it's traditionally a hitch or a fade. He's got off coverage here, so he shouldn't be having a hitch. But as you watch, alley defender stays wide, so we hand the ball off. We got our hitch up top. which we could have thrown if we wanted to. I'll show you some clips of where we do. Okay, here's the end zone view. You'll see good power up front, kick. Good. Not perfect. Our pulling guard kind of got a little too wide here and kind of missed on the linebacker, but running back does a good job staying A-gap, and QB makes the right read. Okay, so here's the same thing. We got pit kick right, or pit is what we call power for us, but we're in an H7 set here now, so he's now kicking from that alignment. So we got our pull. Again, alley defender, he's staying wide, so we're just handing it off. We got our hitch up top. And we block it up pretty good, and we're kind of off to the races there a little bit. So this is just power kick for us. And we can throw the screen out wide, obviously, but with the reading the alley defender, he's wide, so we're going to hand that off. So kick calls for us really, and lock calls are really 3-in-1s at the end of the day. I mean, we can throw the backside access route, which is a hitch, slant, fade. We can hand it off, or we can throw the screen, or if we tag slants or something else to it, we can throw that. So that's power right there. So again, end zone view. Here we are again. This is just an H7 look for us. The H would normally line up here. He's moved over to the 7 spot. And again, this formation for us is just H7. Super simple. You'll see our QB here. He decides to throw the hitch because he's got off coverage. Outside linebackers coming. So this is just good utilization of the 3-in-1 play and the QB understanding what we're doing with the offense. And this comes from just, to me, a lot of time in the QB school and the meetings we have one-on-one and things like that. He knows exactly what we're trying to do. So we have a power run play called right here. But he sees outside linebacker walked up, the corner is off. In his mind, he knows he's going to throw this hitch right here, which he does right away. But you'll see everybody else running back, O-line, they're running power. We got our quick screen up here. But he catches, good footwork, throws the hitch, make a corner miss. And obviously this kid's pretty fast, so outruns everybody else. But again, pretty simple play at the end of the day. I mean, O-line's doing a great job blocking power right here, screen, hitch. And QB's just taking advantage of the weakness of the defense there. And I don't think he does that unless we have our QB school and we spend as many hours as we do just talking through the offense and what we're trying to accomplish with our packages. Let's go back to that real quick. So again, same play, but you'll just good view of the O-line blocking power. The running back thinking he didn't really know he wasn't going to get the ball. You might have said something right before, but here's HY3, where I showed a picture of that earlier. Both guys are lined up between the left guard, left tackle. Great way to get another insert at the point of attack. So we're just running power kick again, but we get an extra insert this way. Both receivers running hitches. Could throw either one here. But utilizing the formation system, again, all this is HY3. Instead of having like heavy left or something and having them memorize that, we can just go HY and 3 and get them lined up and let's go. Simple learning. So we'll start getting to some different aspects of how we run power. Okay, end zone view here. We went shift 2 on this one. We talked about this earlier. So this will be shift 2, H7. End zone view first. Let's go to the wide view here. Running power. Again, this is just for us. This will be power kick. We should have a hitch right here. Our screen up here. Here's the alley defender that we're reading. Okay. And QB knows that because it's a kick call. He shuffles up. play of the run, QB's pulling, and he's throwing the screen. Just make him wrong. It's super simple. And then pretty much off to the races from there on out. Receiver blocks most dangerous, which is fantastic. Ends up being the corner here because he triggers first. But I love his footwork and his patience. You can see him right there. The fit up, drive, and let's cut off that and let's go. All right, so here we're in basically this formation for us is just T4. So we just moved the running back offset and just all it is for us is T4. And this is a version of power again. This is the inverted power like we were talking about earlier. The O-line doesn't know if it's kick or not. They just know it's power. But this is, we go power read here. So we know now we're reading this defensive end, and now we're blocking most dangerous on the perimeter. So nobody's blocking that guy, well, either one, because the blitz came late. But they both take the running back. So QB pulls and replaces power up front. So watch that one more time. Let's watch from the end zone view. So 25 should go unblocked. Takes the running back, pull, replace right up the A gap. Okay. So here's another example. We block either fly sweep with power or counter up front. This game, by game plan, it was power. So you'll see they're blocking power. So this is a read call for us, meaning we're reading the defensive end. QB can hand it off, or the end widens. He's going to pull and just run power up the A gap. So you can just watch this real quick. Okay. So D end kind of crashes a little bit, goes inside. QB hands the ball off, and now we're outside it with the running back on the corner. Again, to the O-line, though, they don't know it's fly sweep. They just know it's power. You can see the guard wrapping. So like a lot of other teams, right or wrong, they're probably going to put in the outside zone scheme, for example, for when they put in fly sweep. Well, we don't need to teach the outside zone scheme. We can just teach it based on what our kids already know for blocking up front, and we just create a read element to it now. Okay. So another version, okay. I think we're getting into some of our counter stuff here. This game, particularly this team that we're playing, is always extremely physical, well coached on defense. We knew we had a big tendency to go to the side that the H or Y was on, to the two receiver side, if that makes sense. So in this formation is simply just Y4. But we knew that anytime there was a Y and a two receivers to that side, we had a huge tendency to go to that. And that was kind of by design. We were setting it up a little bit. And I don't think tendencies are bad as long as you know you have them. You can really take advantage of them. And so we were kind of saving this for this game. But we're running counter. And this just happens to be QB counter here. You'll see that we're kind of faking speed option to the left, to the boundary, and then we're going to have counter GT pulling back to the right. So we'll get down, kick, backside tackle will wrap, okay, and we'll be off to the races because they think speed option is coming to this, which is what we wanted. So you'll kind of see the reaction. The whole defense is thinking speed option to the boundary. And then we got our pulling guard. He's kicking right there. Our tackle, he's wrapping. Okay. This is our play side tackle going to the mic. Now, this pisses me off because if our receiver does anything besides just stand there, we score a touchdown. I mean, he takes a play off there, and he did get his butt chewed. Great kid, just whatever he is, and had a brain fart that play. But again, look at the fake speed option, and then all of a sudden we're pulling. Both guys running counter to the field. Awesome. So we kind of refer to power as kind of God's play. Counter for us is kind of God's play 2.0. So hit that easily. All right, here we're in an H7 look. So another example, we're running power with a kick call. QB throws the backside hitch based on leverage here. Outside linebacker showing. He's one-on-one, just catch and throw the hitch. We got power up front. We got quick screens outside. So again, just a 3-in-1 package there. All right, so here, this for us would just be trips left, okay? Here's another version of power for us. We're just still in pistol. We're just running power read from pistol here. And a lot of people, when they run power read, they're offset, kind of like what you saw earlier. But again, it doesn't matter where we're lined up. We can run any play from any formation. So O-line knows they're blocking power. Receivers hear the read call. They know they're blocking most dangerous. And QB and running back know we're reading the play side defensive end. So just got power read here. He's widening. Okay, just keep it handed off and replace. And again, there's stuff that can be better with this play, but that DN's going to widen and hesitate at all. Boom! Now we're up the A gap, and now we can bounce a little bit as we start to get the second level. So this is just power read. So for us, the play call would be trips left, power read right. Pretty simple. Okay. This is a nice simple RPO that we do and we can utilize. This would be our H counter. So now with our H counter, doesn't matter where he's lined up. He could be lined up right here. He could be lined up in the 4 spot where he's at right there. When we call H counter, he's now the wrap. So pulling guard will still pull and kick. Tackle stays home and secures backside B. Now he's the wrap for front side, play side, inside linebacker. On this particular play, we add a pre-snap push motion by the running back that we can throw if this guy doesn't widen out. We can get to the perimeter. Otherwise, if he does stay wide, QB will take it and just run an H counter to the right. So let's kind of see how this plays out. He bounces a little bit. Boom. So again, you'll see him widen. QB instantly knows he's going to keep it. You'll see pulling guard, and then he inserts the play side inside backer. Again, not perfect, but I think most of us will take that as much as we can. Okay. So here we're on the goal line. Again, another variation of we're blocking power up front. And I can't stress this enough, and I think it's something we do really well, is that the offensive line, we're on a speed option here. The offensive line just knows they're blocking power. And I just think they get so many dang reps out of that. They get really, really good at it. So in this one, we're running speed option to the left. Speed option for us is a read call. So meaning we're reading the defensive end. And so we'll attack him, as you'll see, and we're going to pitch off that. And now we're off. So, but O-line's they're just blocking power. Down, he skip pulls. There's nobody really for him to even block. We did spice it up a little bit with kind of a tight formation with the motion, but to the O-line, it's just power. Here's a version of counter. Again, we kind of changed the backfield action a little bit. We're creating a triple option look here. To the O-line, it's just counter left. Guard will pull and kick. Sorry for my drawings. Tackle will pull and wrap. Okay. We can either hand it to the running back here or pull. So he's going to actually pull this one. Boom, let it play out. QB has it. Okay, and then here's our pitch man right here. So let's play that just full speed one time so you can kind of see it a little bit. There's me screaming at our slot to get lined up to the left of the QB. But again, there's spicing up the backfield action a little bit. It's just counter to the O-line, but to the backfield now it truly is a version of triple option. And we didn't need to get to that third option. but it's there if we need to. Again, another way of spicing it up. And again, this is the cool part of our formation system, I think. This is a kind of a neat empty set, but we don't need a fancy name for it. This is honestly just T3, meaning the T is going to line up between the left guard, left tackle, and now we're in an empty set. So, but this is T3, and we're going to go our H counter. And I know that's our T, but the way the system is set up, they know that he's the one that's going to be wrapping here. So we're going to fake fly sweep going this way, and then guard's going to pull and kick, and then the T is going to wrap and lead the way. And so this is just, you'll kind of see it here. It's going to pop, boom. So really good job by the T here, staying and cutting up right off that guard and then finding work. And then the QB does a great job of getting downhill in that A gap and going. He's not waiting. He knows where it's going to be. A gap, boom, stay on it. Now turn on the jets. So here's another look at counter again with the triple option aspect to it. The receivers did kind of mess it up here. He should have just kept climbing. But he kind of tries to block the secondary read key. We pitch off of it though. Boom. And again, not pretty, but you can see that the structure is there with it. But again, just let the O-line get really good at a few concepts and build in different backfield actions for that. So that's number one. Okay, so last couple, and then we'll move kind of on. Here, we're running counter up front. We're trying to show speed option kind of look again. So this for us would be Y4. So this is the Y. He's going to take a couple quick jab steps. The same with the running back. Like we're going to be going like speed option this way. And he's going to get the ball and bang it back underneath with counter action from the O-line. Now, it does pop, but I would like him to be a little bit more of a salesman. But you can see 1, 2, and then he comes back. So again, just same play for the O-line, just changing up the backfield action. Okay. Here we are. We're in an H6 look, and now we're going to run our shovel pass, which is actually a dual read for us. So shovel, we can pitch it on speed option. He's going to come underneath, following the pulling guard, and now we're reading the D end. But O-line is just blocking power. So you'll kind of see how it shakes out. D end's widen, pitching underneath, boom. Again, multiple ways to run power and counter with different backfield actions. Okay, so next we'll talk about utilizing multiple tempos. We're a base huddle team, but I think it's important to have different tempos. I mentioned kind of earlier when we were at my old school and we did have a lot of success there on offense. We were a no huddle, let's go as fast as possible. A lot of things were just 1 or 2 words, and it was let's bang it out. And it was a lot of fun. And again, we had a lot of success, but I think as defenses have caught up, it's important to have multiple different things you can do. So for us, we have a check with me, line up, no huddle, fake snap, get defensive ID, and then signal and play. I mean, nothing groundbreaking there. We have one-word play calls that say formation, play, direction, motion, whatever you need to do. Those are big for us. We have a lot of fun with those. And then we have word signals for run the same play again as fast as possible. And then also word/signals for run the same play, but flip formation and direction as fast as possible. So just different ways to get in no huddle looks, or act like we're going no huddle and then get a check with me. But the one-word play calls, that's something we take a lot of pride in. We had about 15 by the end of the year. And again, we just kind of added 1 or 2 each week. And it's something that we practice as kind of a part of our conditioning. So it wasn't extra practice time, but we utilized that and got good at it that way. And they were very good for us. But again, at the end of the day, the goal is to keep defense on their heels. You don't want them knowing you're going to huddle every time. You don't want them knowing you're going to be going fast the entire time. Mix it up on them, keep them on edge. And the one thing we're going to add next year as we progress in this system is kind of the Auburn Fire Alarm series, which I really like that, and it kind of fits into what we do with offense. So that'll be another tempo that we have. Stack wide receiver sets, pretty big on this. Again, you could be wing T, flex bone, air raid. It doesn't matter. This is something that you can utilize in your offense. So stack wide receiver sets spreads the field. And because you're spreading it so much, I think it makes the defense define their look. And with that, it clears the read for the QB. It definitely opens up the run game by spreading the defense, but they have to choose how to play it. If defense doesn't adjust, it's an easy extended handoff for QB. You have your pre and post snap RPO element to it for the most part, and then you can run a lot of your pass game from it. So it's not a giveaway. And I do think it's difficult for the defense to defend all the options. At some point, they're going to have to decide what they're going to give you and what they're going to take away. So what does some of the stack sets look like for us? And again, these are kind of the formation tags I was talking about. So we just say stack right. That means both receivers to the right are stacked. And H7 means the H is going to be between the right guard and right tackle. Now we could go H6, H4, H3. You can move them anywhere, but stack right. We got these guys stacked out here. Okay. Double stack means both receivers, both sides are stacked. If your side is called, it just means the H or the Y goes right behind where the R and the L line up. So double stack means both sides. Here's an empty version. So we go double stack, then tag the tailback to go to the 7 spot. So it's an empty basically, but you still get your two back run threat, and you got your quick screens or routes on the outside. So again, fun little variation there. Trips right stack. So again, another empty variation. We got trips right stack here. So we just say trips right. That means the Y would be here. Oops. The Y would be right here and the H would be right here. We call it stack. They just line up behind the R. And then we tag the running back to be in the 7 spot. So again, the ability to get creative. Here's one where we just go empty right stack. Okay, so we're an empty, which tells the tailback to go opposite the call. So if we have an empty right, that means he's lined up to the left. And then we just say stack. So he's to the right is the receiver stack. So again, kind of unique look, kind of tough to defend. They got to play sideline to sideline because we can run anything we want over here. We got QB run game here. Plus we got some stuff we can do here and have fun with that. And again, I love stack sets. You can get creative with them and have fun. And at the end of the day, if you're just throwing your quick screen to it, I mean, if you get 4 to 5 yards, it's a successful play. Here we go. We go empty right, and we go stack opposite that now. So we can get our trips passing game over here, or we can get whatever we want to going over here as well. So again, just having fun with it, getting creative. And there's only a certain way, there's only a few ways defenses can line up to this. So once you find out how they're going to line up to your stack sets, it definitely helps you adjust throughout the game, or if you know beforehand as well, based on how they've done it in the past. So here's an empty set where we're just stack on both sides. So 5 wide receivers, you got 3 stacked to the left, 2 stacked to the right, and we're an empty. So again, have fun with it, and there's a lot of things you can do from these sets. So let's get to some huddle clips of that. Here, we're in a double stack. We got our tailback, we tagged him in a 3 spot. So it's kind of an empty set, but we also get our 2-back run game with that. So we got power kick called up front, and we got quick screens attached to the perimeter. Our QB here, he decides, well, he's reading the alley defender, which in this case is pretty much him, number 5. He kind of backpedals, so he just keeps it and goes. We don't get it around to block that that Mike, but still 5 or so yards or whatever. And you can see we got quick screens, and he could have easily thrown the quick screen to either side there. But on this one, he chose to keep it, and we get 5 yards, we'll take it. But here's the end zone call. So kind of against a very similar look, double stack. We got T7 here. Probably have power up front with a kick call, meaning now we're kicking the D end, and we're reading the alley defender. This is something we talked about, and he fixed later in the game. So, boom, good deal. Receiver down here does a great job of blocking most dangerous, and then receiver catching the ball and making the corner miss. Kind of similar deal here. You got T3 double stack. Can be running power up front, which they are. Kick. We throw a screen out wide. Again, block most dangerous. And now we're expecting the corner to make a tackle in space. And we all know corners aren't the best tacklers. And again, not a great job by that corner by any stretch, but it puts a lot of stress on him for sure. Right trip stack here with a T3 call. Here we just had our quick screen. We didn't have any run play called up front, but again, to me, this is just an extended handoff. I mean, this is no different than like a sweep. Get the ball to your playmakers in space. Here's a version of it where we stacked 3 receivers to the left, got 2 receivers to the right. We got a quick screen to the trip side, slant arrow to the 2 receiver side. And again, I mean, it's there. We're reading flat defender. They're in a zone coverage. A little better throw, and still should have been caught, but should be something that's taken to the house. And the scheme was there, just a little bit better execution. So in this, we could throw the quick screen down here, or we can throw the slant arrow concept up top. And that's something we do a lot, where we'll tag screens to one side and have a concept to the other. Yeah. So here's another good example where an empty set to the 2 receiver side, we have hitches called. To this side, we have our screen. QB can pick whatever side he wants. He probably could have gone both, really. And now we got guys blocking most dangerous. He needs to be a little bit more aggressive in making that block there. But again, we end up with good numbers on the perimeter. Ball gets out there quick, and get vertical. Positive yards after catch. Another example, kind of the same exact formation. I believe we're running 4 verts here with a kind of a switch call. Again, it's there. QB probably should have just back shouldered that, and we would have been fine. But again, he could throw the screen here, could throw the concept there. But just put this on there just to show multiple ways you can tag concepts to one side, have a quick screen to the other, and shoot. Even if you want, you could add a run concept up front. So kind of the last concept we'll chat about is our hoot. Hoot stands for Hitch Boot. So basically you have hitch one side and boot concept to the other. To the hitch side, you can change that route by game plan. So hit could be a hitch, it could be a slant or a fade. O-line will full slide to the hitch, okay, much like turnback sprint protection. It's a full field pass play and like basic sprint out. Like on sprint out, you're just going to basically eliminate half the field right away. On this one, if the defense isn't lined up correctly, we can take advantage of the full field. Multiple elements of the defense to defend. I like how it really messes with linebackers and DB's eyes because of where the QB's eyes are looking to start with. And again, it can be very multiple in its use. Okay. So this is kind of its base look for us. Here's our hitch, and then here's our boot concept. O-line would be full sliding to the left here. I don't have that drawn up, but they'd be full sliding left. The backside D end would be unblocked, and that's who the tailback has. So the QB, he would catch, and he's looking at that hitch first. If he can catch and throw that hitch every time, he's going to do that. But if not, for some reason it's taken away, he's going to catch and get out and boot to the concept side. Okay. So a couple other variations. Okay, we can get the H to go behind the line of scrimmage into the flat. It's actually one of my favorite ways to run it. Still got our boot concept over there to the right. Same thing if we just add a switch tag. Now they're just changing the R and Y are changing responsibilities, who has the corner and who has the comeback. Here's a different look at as well. If we another way we run it, still have the hitch by the outside guy. And again, that could be a slant, could be a fade based on game plan. I'll show you a couple clips of where we have different ones. Okay, so here we have hoot, what we'd call hoot right, okay, which means we have the hitch over here, okay, and then the boot concept to this side. So kind of watch how this plays out. We shift to a Y7. Look at the hitch. We could throw it. He doesn't. Boot back out the opposite side. Hit the guy in the flat. So, and he could very easily throw the hitch here, but he decides not to. Does a good job of getting depth and getting around and hitting the guy in the flat. And that's a great hit by this linebacker. He was a state player of the year for his level. Okay. Here's the same thing, but we're going hoot left now. He's going to catch. Now he does throw the hitch route. You can see they have the boot concept up here. Got him in the flat coming across the line of scrimmage. But he sees backpedal, catch, throw, get that ball out, let the receiver do work in space. Here's a goal line version of it. Great effort by our Y. Once he catches it, getting vertical and getting in the end zone. So again, here we got hoot left. He's looking at the hitch. Doesn't feel comfortable with it. He's getting out. Just dumps it off to the guy in the flat. Boom. And again, easy yards. Okay. Similar thing. Hoot left. He gets out. Good athlete in the flat. The thing I love about this, most of these clips, you'll see when he looks at the hitch, you're going to get linebacker movement towards that hitch, which makes it harder for them to cover anything in the flat. And that's terrible effort by that kid, obviously. I mean, that's not good. So you've seen us throw the flat route a few times. Okay, now here we're going to throw the comeback. Good. There's not much drop off here, so he's not going to throw the hitch. But get out. Awesome. Just hitting different elements of that. And then here's one where we kind of changed for the game plan. He was running a fade route instead of a hitch. That was still the first read, though. And now he's working across, okay? And we knew he was probably going to be matched up on the safety. And our goal was for him to come across and have him creep up. And so we're putting our fast kid working across the field on the safety. And it's one of those times where it kind of worked out to where you want it to. QB does a good job throwing it across. Boom. Receiver picks up a block, and now he's off to the races. So one more way on that. Yeah, again, just some different variations. It's obviously a great catch there. Okay, last thing for you guys tonight. I think it's important to have a goal line short yardage package, something unique. And again, I think you can be unique without having to teach something new. And so that's kind of what we try to do. A lot of times people try to do something unique with their 2-point package or something. But at the end of the day, you're practicing it more than what the defense is. And so it's taking the time away from everything else. So for us, we try to create goal line short yardage package. That's not new teaching. but it is something different. So kids excited about it, can be creative, make sure it falls into your rules so it's not new teaching. And this is something you can get your big boys involved in that normally wouldn't be. So for us, we just call this diesel right or diesel left, but you get 3 big guys all lined up in the B gap, basically, and you can run power, counter, H counter, sweep, and again, assuming your QBs can run, and then also you can throw off it as well. So for us, again, we call it diesel. We get our heavy personnel in there, get numbers at the point of attack. It's physical. You get a max pass pro with it. It follows rules that are already in place for the O-line, which is huge. It does force one-on-one matchups on the outside, or you're going to be outnumbered in the box. And then you can go true wildcat, which we've done at times, but we can also just do it with our QB. And so this is something we ran a lot of and had a lot of success with. And we're kind of aggressive with how we do things. We try not to punt. We onside kick it. Not a lot, but we always go for it on 4th down unless it's drastic, and then we always go for 2. The only time we ever kicked PATs last year were when we were up by a lot, to where it was something I just didn't feel good about going for 2, even though it's kind of what we did. But that diesel package was really good for us down the goal line, especially going for 2. And anytime it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2, we've kind of view the field as it's a 4-down territory pretty much anywhere, and our kids know that. And I think there's something to be said about that, in the sense of kids know they have 4 plays to get a first down instead of just 3. And they're not sure if you're going to go for it or not most of the time, but with our kids, they pretty much know, like, hey, we're going for it. We got 1 more down, and I think that adds a confidence element too for them, that coaches believe they can get it. And then also, I think excitement knowing they get another play on offense. And I know, just as a defensive coordinator, there's nothing worse than when I think you stop somebody and it's 4th down and all of a sudden they go for it and get it. It's crushing to the defensive coaching staff, and then also to the players on the defensive side of the ball. And so we're aggressive and we like to have fun, but also we try to make sure it fits within our system. But anyway, like I said, my name is Mike Peck. I'm the head football coach at Prairie High School. That's my email. I'm pretty active on Twitter as well. So there's my address on there. If you have any questions or want to talk ball, please feel free to reach out to me, and I appreciate the opportunity to get on here and talk some ball.